Hi there, thanks for joining me for this quick hit of spinal mobility. We're going to be working at all levels of the spine, starting from the neck and working our way down. So this is perfect for anyone who gets stuck at the desk a little bit too long or is just looking to work on their spinal mobility. To start, I'll get you to find a seated position that's comfortable for you. I'm going to do this one in kneeling. So we're going to start with the cervical spine, or the neck, and we're going to do cars here. So I want you to tighten your arms, we're going to press them down to keep your shoulders locked in, and you're going to brace your core. So take a nice deep breath into your belly, and we're going to tighten up all of those muscles and do our cars from here. So our first movement is going to be to tuck the chin and roll down nice and slow until we're looking towards the floor. Slide your chin across your chest, looking over that shoulder, bring it all the way around, all the way to the other side, and complete your circle by sliding your chin back down. We're going to do this twice on each side. So tighten the core, into flexion, slide across, look over, extend back, and all the way to the bottom. I like to slowly roll up in between as well, but you don't have to. We'll go one more on this side and then we're going to switch to the other. It's really important that you keep your shoulders locked down. We really want to target the cervical spine and not compensate through the shoulders. We'll switch sides here. We've got 2 reps. Perfect. So we're going to do the same movement again for the spine this time, the rest of the spine. I want you to cross your arms across your chest, hang onto your shoulders, and again we're going to brace through the core. So our first movement is going to be to tuck in that chin. We're going to flex forward as far as you can. Try to keep your bum sitting on the ground or on your heels. So only go as far as you can without lifting. Then we're going to rotate or pivot around that axis to one side. Lean back into extension. Again, we're doing that full circle. Rotate to the opposite side. And all the way down into flexion at the bottom. We'll do 2 reps on each side. Only go as far as you're comfortable. If you have any pain in any position, skip that position and move past it, move around it. And just take note of it as well, because you might be able to target it with some of the other exercises later on here. Good. 2 to the other direction. And last one. Perfect. So we're going to get into our T-spine a little bit for this first movement. So you're going to come into all fours. I want you to find a nice solid position because we're going to be here for a little while. So what we're going to do is work on our flexion and extension. So our first movement, you're going to tuck your chin into your chest, and then I want you to roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. So one little joint in your spine, starting at the top and rolling down to the bottom. And we're just getting as much flexion as you can. Just go whatever is comfortable. From here, you're going to start at the pelvis and go through the lower back first. And we're going to come into extension, nice and slow, finishing with our chest forward and our neck neutral. So you don't want to crank here. We're just going to chest forward and neck neutral. We're going to do 2 up into flexion and 2 down into extension, alternating. So here we go. First flexion, tuck the chin in, roll up 1 vertebrae at a time. Nice and slow, slower than feels comfortable. And back down, starting at the bottom. 1 vertebrae at a time. Finishing with that chest forward, cervical spine in neutral. 1 more, tuck in chin. It's really easy to skip a part of the spine if it doesn't move well, so really try and be conscious and aware of doing that 1 vertebrae movement at a time. Might feel a little bit of clicking and clunking. And that's okay as long as it's not causing any pain. Alright, hope you're feeling okay so far. We're going to go into a bit of a rotation now. So we started with our general kind of like grand scheme range of motion, done flexion extension, and now we're going to do a rotation. So we're going to be on all fours again. And basically you want to keep those shoulders nice and tight. You're going to bring one hand across, slide it under, keep that arm locked out, just until you feel a rotate, like a little bit of a stretch through your spine. This is going to be mainly through your middle and upper spine. And then we're going to come back. So try not to shift your hips too much, so you don't want to break at the hips and bend at the elbow. Everything's nice and square. Hand across and slide until you feel a little bit of a stretch. So we're going to go for 3 on each side. Alright, one more on each side, and then we're going to finish this up with another round of cars. Good. So we're going to come back into our seated position, and this is just going to be to kind of like solidify everything that we've just done. So we always want to finish with our full range of motion. So cross those arms over, brace the core, and we'll go into flexion first. We're just going to do 1 to each side, pivot around the axis. Nice big extension, chest high. Try and keep that butt firmly on the ground or on your heels if you're kneeling. 1 on the other side. All the way around. Good. And back to neutral. And that's it. So I hope your spine is feeling a little bit more mobile. If you want to make this into a longer session, I would just suggest adding a few more reps of each, or going and speaking with your strength coach, healthcare practitioner, and seeing what ways are best for you to work on your spinal mobility. Thanks for joining me.